Hello everybody. Today we are going to continue on in our large unit about data, moving on to lesson 9.1. So in more of the module 9 lessons, we're going to look at different ways that we can calculate some measurements that analyze your data and tell you different things about it. So here's what we're going to do with lesson 9.1. Lesson 9.1 is about measures of center and measures of spread. So we're going to take this, and the homework that goes with this lesson will be on page 312, 2 through 20 even, but we're actually going to break it up into 2 days. So what you're going to do for today is we're going to learn a few measures of center and spread far enough that you should be able to get through numbers 2 to 14 even on this assignment from today's lesson, and then tomorrow we will continue on with the remaining measure of spread in lesson 9.1, which will allow you to finish up just those last couple of problems. So you won't turn in an assignment yet tomorrow. You will do as much as you can up to 14, learn the rest tomorrow, and complete the assignment, and then we will grade all of 2 through 20 even together at once after 2 days. So, measures of center and spread are actually something that you have learned for several years. You guys have heard measures of center before. Those are your things like your mean, median, mode, those kinds of things. So we're just going to take some of those things you already know, build on them a little bit, review some things about what measures of spread might be that you may or may not have heard of, and for sure one of them that we're going to save for day 2 is definitely a more advanced measure of spread that we haven't dealt with before. So we're going to give it its own day of work. So what I'm going to do for today is ask you to flip to the back side for extra notes, and that's where we're going to actually record all of our notes for today. We're not going to do the examples on the front side. So I've already got some things written down here, so feel free to pause as needed and take your time to get it set up. But what we're going to start on is, in these lesson 9.1 notes, we're going to focus on measures of center first. So the 2 measures of center that we're going to focus on today are mean and median. So just a quick review. Mean kind of means the same thing as average. They're kind of interchangeable. They mean the same thing. And then there's median, which basically means if you lined up all the numbers from least to greatest, the number that would fall right in the middle would be the median. So what we want to focus on a little bit this year, in addition to just can you find the mean and the median, is kind of understanding when each one is a little bit more appropriate for each set of data. So we say that the mean or the average is probably the best way to measure kind of the central area of your data when there is no outlier. So if there's no extremely low or extremely high number in the set of data that you're averaging, then that mean is going to be a nice measure of center that gives a good picture of what your average is. But if there's that really, really high number or really, really low number, we kind of see that with grades all the time. Like throwing a 0 in the grade book that's a really low number below everything else you normally get really brings down your average in a hurry. So mean is great when there is no outlier, but if there is an outlier, some kind of random, really large or small value in your set of data, it's probably best to go with median as being the better measure of center. So as far as what you have to do today, you're really just going to calculate mean and median. We just want to have that conversation about when each one is a little more appropriate. It's not something that you have to write down in your homework as part of your answer. So once everybody is done writing this down and ready to go, give everyone a moment to get to page 306 and find the Your Turn problems at the very, very bottom of the page. Okay, what we're going to see on page 306 is at the bottom of page 306 down here. Okay, all it's going to say is find the mean and median of each set of data. Okay, so you're going to see problems exactly like this in your homework. What I would encourage you to do so you don't waste your time is you do need to actually write the numbers down in order to work with them on your paper, because you can find the mean without necessarily writing them down, but median, you're going to need the numbers listed out, and you might as well go ahead and write them in order from least to greatest rather than waste your time writing them twice. So I'm going to write down here Niall's scores from his last 6 geography tests, but I'm going to take the time to put them in order. So if you're working this out with me, smallest score that I see is a 70, and then I see a 71. There is a 72. There is a 73, there is a 74, and then there's a 96. So you should have 6 numbers altogether in your list, otherwise you skipped one. Alright, so we are being asked to find the mean and to find the median. Okay, mean just means average. So for the purpose of your notes, I am going to remind you how in the world you find a mean, and we're going to write it down just so you have something to refer back to. I do not expect that you're going to need to write this down on your homework every time you find a mean. You can use your calculator, okay, but I want you to make sure you know what is going on. So write it once for me in your notes, and then you guys can kind of skip over it and just write the answer for mean. To find the mean or the average, we need to make sure we're understanding and showing ourselves in our notes that you're going to add all of the values together, and then you will divide by however many numbers were in your list of data. So in this case, we will divide by 6. So we are going to write down that you are doing 70 plus 71 plus 72 plus 73 plus 74 plus 96. And we're going to divide all of that by 6. Okay? So you are going to do 70 plus 71 plus 72 plus 73 plus 74 plus 96. Make sure you have all 6 numbers typed in, and then divide by 6. So mean 76. Okay, his average score was a 76. Okay, for median, this is the reason that we took the time to write these down in order in the first place. Okay, for median, you're going to find what's in the middle. Okay, so guys, some of you are better at keeping track of this than others. For some of you who tend to lose count, okay, 1, and I start on the outside, okay, and work my way in. Okay, here's 1 on either side. Here's 2 numbers on either side. Here's 3 numbers on either side. The middle falls right here between these 2 numbers. So when they're super close together like this, most of you can obviously tell, yeah, what's right in the middle of 72 and 73? Hey, that's 72.5. Of course it is. Okay, but let's say the numbers are spread further apart and you struggle with figuring out what is right in the middle. It's just an average. If you do 72 plus 73, and since that was 2 numbers, you divide by 2. That will give you 72.5 if it happens to be numbers that are harder for you to figure out where the middle is. So when you have an even number of data values in your list, you're going to have to average out the 2 middle numbers to find the median. So our median is 72.5. All right, so we found the mean, we found the median. Guys, that's all you have to be able to do on your homework. But for our notes, we're having a little conversation here about, in this case, with this guy's quiz scores, or geography test scores, okay, which one of these would actually probably be the more accurate measure of center. So I want you to look back at those numbers, and they were like rolling pretty steady, and 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, but then boom, he gets a 96. Okay, I would definitely consider that 96 an outlier. Okay, his average of all of these is definitely, okay, in the lower 70s, and then we throw in that 96, which raises his average quite higher. So if I were going to describe which one of these is probably a more accurate measure of center, it's probably going to be the 72.5, because I'm going to use median when there seems to be kind of an outlying value. So make this note for me. Again, this is not going in your homework, but it is going in your notes. I want you to make a note that it is more accurate because 96 raises mean too much. So in this case, the median would be a more accurate measure of center than the mean, because that outlier of a 96 really raises that average up beyond what the actual central point is. All right, one more. In number 5, Raul's golf scores. Okay, take the time to look in your book and put them in order from least to greatest. Least I see is an 81, and then I see 84, and then 89, 90, 93, and then there are two 94s. You want to take you want to write them down twice. We need all 7 data values in there. Okay, so 7 golf scores. Okay, we're going to find the mean and we're going to find the median. For mean, again, you don't have to do this on your actual homework, but for the sake of your notes, humor me. You're going to add all these up. So we're doing 81 plus 84 plus 89 plus 90 plus 93 plus 94 plus the other 94. And this time we're going to be dividing by, hopefully you're saying 7. All right, so take a second, calculate it out. 81 plus 84 plus 89 plus 90 plus 93 plus 94 plus 94, and then divide it all by 7. Okay, it should be coming out as a decimal, and you guys are going to find that when we do homework for this lesson, they are wanting you to round things to the tenths place. So we would call this not 89.2. We would say, because of that 8, we would round this up to 89.3. Okay. All right. So this one, when we go to find median, I'm going to write down median. You're looking for the middle number. And if you count in from the edges again, like, okay, here's 1 on each side, 2 on each side, 3 on each side. Okay, when you have an odd number of values in your list, you will have a single number that's smack dab in the middle, and you won't have to average it out like this. So the median would be 90. Okay? Okay, so when you guys look at his golf scores here, okay, I would say when you guys take a look at these, I feel like these are kind of all in a reasonable, like, proximity to each other. There's not one of them that's like significantly higher or significantly lower than like the other scores before and after it. So I don't think we have an outlier here, which means if we wanted to have that conversation about which of the measures of center is probably more accurate, this time we would go with the mean. So we're going to make a little note here. Okay, that 89.3, we're going to call that more accurate because there is no outlier. Okay, and these words will come up again later on, so it's easier if we just talk about them now. But as long as you can find mean and median, you should be set for homework. All right, take a second and get down the next section that needs to go in your notes here. We need to also talk about measures of spread. In other words, how spread out our data values are from one another. So there's 2 measures of spread you're going to be asked to find in your homework today. You're going to be asked to find range, and you're going to be asked to find interquartile range. So go ahead and get range and interquartile range down. You're going to see the common abbreviation for interquartile range is IQR. Way shorter to write, way shorter to say. So write it down once here where you know what it means, and then you can use IQR from that point forward. Okay, and then what I need you to understand about what's written under here is these are subtraction signs. To do both of these calculations, you subtract. Okay, to find range, you take the maximum number minus the minimum number. Biggest number in the set minus smallest number in the set. That's range. Pretty easy. Interquartile range is you take the third quartile minus the first quartile. We commonly call those Q3 and Q1. So you'll see me write Q3 minus Q1 often for IQR. So I will remind you how to find quartiles, and it's going to tie into when we do box plots a little bit later on. So we want to be super prepared for that. Once everybody has this down, give everybody a second to flip over to page 308, and we're going to do the problems at the bottom of page 308. So, okay, these questions right here say find the median, range, and interquartile range for the given data set. So you don't have to do mean anymore, but median kind of goes right along with finding range in IQR, so it kind of makes sense that we have this. Okay, definitely take time to write these in order from least to greatest, or you're going to have a hard time. Okay, no need doing double work, just write them in order from the get-go. All right, for number 7, if we're putting these in order, smallest thing I see is 21, then 24, then 26, and there is another 26, so make sure you get it down twice. 28, 31. Okay? And you are being asked to find the median, the range, and the IQR. Abbreviate that. Okay, let's start with median. We know that one. Okay, one from this end, one from this end. 2, 3. Okay, I like this one. The median is in between 26 and 26. Well, you know what's between 26 and 26? 26. Okay, so then when you go to find the range, all you need is biggest number minus smallest number. Okay, so I'm going to write this down again. You don't have to write this down every time in your homework, but for your notes, yes you do. Okay, biggest number, 31. Minus smallest number, 21. 31 minus 21 is 10. There's your range. Done. Median, range, done. All right, for IQR, we have to do Q3 minus Q1. So here's what we mean by quartiles. Quartiles means quarters, fourths. Okay, like 4 quarters in a basketball game kind of thing. Okay? When you guys are looking at this, your median has already split your data into half. Here's the lower half, and here's the upper half. You need to split each half in half. That's how you get a quarter. Okay, so you need to look at the 3 numbers that are below the median, and out of these 3, where's the middle? 24. That's Q1. And then you need to look at the numbers above the median. Out of the 3 upper half numbers, where's the middle? 28. That's Q3. So to get IQR, okay, you're looking at from this quartile to this quartile, how big of a spread do we have between the numbers? So you're going to do 28 minus 24. Q3 minus Q1. You get 4. All right, try it one more time and then you should be good to go. 8. Put the temperatures in order from least to greatest. There's 11 of them, so let's get them right. Smallest, 68. There are multiple 71s. I see 3 of them. 71, 71, 71. Write it all 3 times. Then you should have 72. There is a 73. There are 2 74s, so write 74 down 2 times. There are 2 75s, so write down 75 2 times. And then there's 79. There we go. Okay, everybody take a second and make sure you truly have 11 numbers. If somebody doesn't have all the numbers down, we're going to struggle. Okay, median, range, IQR. Okay, so median. There's 11 numbers, guys, so there's going to be one that is smack dab in the middle. Find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there it is. 73. Okay, 73 is your median. Got it. Okay, so that 73 is right in the middle, halfway. Okay, let's do ranges and then we'll do IQR. Range is simply going to be the biggest number, which is 79, minus the smallest number, which is 68. 79 minus 68 should leave you 11. Range, 11. This has a spread of 11. Okay, but now we're going to look at the spread between just the IQR, just between Q1 and Q3, which means we got to find Q1 and Q3. Okay, here's something real important about these ones with the odd number of values. Make a note, write it down. Don't count median when finding Q1 and Q3. It will mess you up. So write it down and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, you are not gonna, so forget the 73 is there. Don't say like, ooh, 73 goes with the lower half and 73 goes with the upper half. Okay, don't include the 73 anymore. It's the median and it's out. So you want to look at only the numbers below 73. Out of these 5 numbers below the 73, the middle one is, that's 71. That's Q1. Okay, then when you do the upper half, don't count the 73. The 73 is not part of the upper half. Out of the 5 numbers above the 73, where's the middle? 75 is Q3. Sorry, my Q is a little messed up. Q1, Q3. So IQR is Q3, which is 75, minus Q1, which is 71. So your IQR is 4. All right, so if you guys take a look at homework, you guys are flipping to page 312. You guys are doing 2 through 14 even right now. We'll add on the rest tomorrow. So find the mean and median all the way for 2, 4, 6, 8, and then it changes. Look at 10. Find the range and interquartile range. 12. Find the range and interquartile range. 14. Find the range and interquartile range. That's where you're going to stop because you're going to notice this lovely word standard deviation in the rest of the problems. And until I teach you that tomorrow, you are going to hold off and we will finish it after you take notes on the second half of lesson 9.1. So good luck, everybody. I will do the rest of lesson 9.1 in the next lesson.